No big
Staying
deal.
here.
Like we did. Yeah. Hello, everybody. It's so good to have you. As you can see, we've got Wayne and Ruby with us today. Going to have a little fun. I've seen a couple of videos here lately. Some folks who have decided you don't need a special, very expensive chuck to do something oval. And so we're going to try to turn an oval bowl. I'm going to go ahead and put you guys in the background, and I'm going to switch my cameras to this one. And there you can see I've got a piece of walnut, 5 by 5 by 7. That's all in inches. We're going to make this into a bowl, and then we're going to um, I'm going to kind of finish the inside and the outside, sort of, kind of. But then we're going to end the video, and I'm going to let you guys go for a while, because I've then got to do some flat work on it. I've got to take it over to the bandsaw. I've got to, that's what I'm looking for. Glue it all together, and then I'm going to come back in the socials and show you the finished piece in just a few days. So as I get started, we're going to put it on yeah, this Nova chuck with 4-inch jaws, worm screw. I've already got it drilled for that. This will be my bottom. We'll get it round and get a tenon on here, and we'll change chucks, flip it around, and turn it the rest of the way. So while I'm doing that, I'm going to let Wayne and Ruby battle it out for who gets to read off the chat.
Well,
Well,
we already arm wrestled and he beat me.
right. Well, one question I've got to ask, Doug. Are you using a worm screw on end grain there?
And that was my question too, Wayne.
No. No, we're in great shape.
Is
We're in
that
great shape.
is that side grain or end grain that the worm screws on?
It's into the side grain. I say that.
Oh, right.
Yes, it is. It is. The grain's going that way.
Okay.
Top bottom, or top bottom, whichever.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So, okay.
Okay. Since
So we're in
I've
good shape.
sorted that out, who we got in? We've got Larry in. Lawrence is in first. That's Henry's Rollsaw Works. I believe he changed his name a bit further down. Val's in. Good evening, Val. How are you doing? Obviously, Doug's here. Ruby's here. That's Lawrence
kick that
in.
Doug guy out.
Okay. Keep that. Yeah, exactly. Let's try and keep him quiet, Ruby.
All right.
Lawrence has come back in on his tablet where he can see better, and asking if everyone is doing great today. I believe we are.
Yes, we are.
We've got Michael McEwen in. Going down. We've got Rob from Copper Owl. Got Clint from Wood Dancers. Haley's in. Evening, Haley. Nice wavy hand there. And Dale's in. Good afternoon, Dale. Todd at Glen Cove. Saying hello to everybody. Evening, Todd. Still going down. Barry Chitty's just come in there.
Change to the overhead.
Clint's asking how's the weather up yonder. I don't know who he's asking that to, but he's saying he works in whatever temperature is outside. Roger Wallam's just come in. Oh, Karsten's in. Evening, Karsten. Everybody's saying hello to everybody else. Vinnie Charlton's just come in. I'm still going down. Susie's in. Evening, Susie. You, Roger? I think I
And Bert Wolf has just joined us. Hi, Bert.
Hi, Bert. And Al's in. Al Dawson. Good evening, Al. Or good afternoon.
All right, just knocking the corners off with my easy wood rougher, just to get us started. I don't know. I think it was you, Ruby, that said something to me last week that just made me think, why don't I use my easy woods a little more often? I just I get going in gouge mode so often that I
It's
forget.
what you started out with and have gotten used to.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. It's the habit of it.
Yeah, like I roughed out four bowls this morning, and I'd have to say 90% I did with my roughing tool, the same one you're using right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it saves a lot of wear and tear on your bowl gouges.
Oh, it
Re-
does. It does.
It
Replacing
does.
one of those bits is a lot cheaper than replacing a whole bowl gouge.
Exactly. And the thing is, it doesn't matter what type of finish you get from the carbide, it can always be finished off later.
Yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely. But just that quick, I've gone from square to round, and just so you can see that I'm not lying to you, fully round, not a square, not a flat on it. Well, got one
Yeah.
little flat right there.
I think it was Jimmy Clues once said in one of his demos that I watched, and he said it doesn't matter what tool you use, it's all about the finish.
Yep.
yep,
Because with the one, once you get the finish right, nobody else can tell what tool you used.
that's right.
I took
That,
a
that was something he and I both learned from Alan Daddy.
get that in nice
Oh,
and
there's a
flat.
turner.
Um,
Meg's just come in from dancers.
hey,
Hi, Mick.
hey, Mike. I was taking a group class with Jimmy Clues when. What tool was that? I think it was a Hunter carbide that I had with me at that time before these came out, before these square ones came out, and he came over and he stopped the entire group and had them come over and look at that tool. Um, I found it quite interesting that he did that.
No, it was good teaching on his part.
Oh, absolutely. He liked the tool. Um, there were a couple of things that day that he pointed out. Um, that particular tool he liked. He also liked the finish that I was using. It had a whatever it was. It had mm-hmm, had a honey smell to it. He really liked it.
Well, he's a sweet young man.
He's a good guy. Some people don't like him, and I can understand. But
No, how
I,
anybody can't like Jimmy Clues. I really don't understand that, because obviously he comes from my part of the world.
there you go. There you go.
I
He's a
found
good.
him. I found him easy to get along with.
Yes, I did
I
too.
mean, me and him were near enough neighbours, near enough.
He he was getting ready to make the move to the U.S. and he says to the group in a big demo kind of deal. He says, "Can any of y'all guess why I'm coming to Las Vegas instead of anywhere else?" There were
I
a lot of
already knew.
guesses. Yeah, I know too, or had a good idea.
Brian
After,
from
I'm sorry.
Brian with a Y has joined us,
Hey,
as
Brian.
has Chris Nealon.
Chris, good to see you as well. Um,
Sorry to interrupt you, Doug.
no, you're fine. After a bunch of wild guesses that were nowhere near right, some of them had a ring of truth to them, but they weren't right. He says, "No, guys. Truth is, I'm going to start doing classes, and that's the cheapest airport to fly into and out of in the country."
There you go.
And so,
I always remember watching some of his demos that wood turning clubs from the States used to put on with Jimmy Clues doing the demo. And it didn't matter what part of the States he was doing the demo in. He always used to say, as one of the beginning types of things, is that, as you can tell from my accent, I'm not from here. I'm from Alabama.
Yep. It was that same club. He came in and was getting set up before the demo started. And at that time, the club had a big one-way lathe. And so he had a piece of 2x4. It was as much as that lathe could handle to swing it lengthwise. And he had put a worm screw in that thing and was just getting it adjusted and squared away the way he wanted it. And he says, that ought to do. And he turned the lathe on at full speed.
Oh,
A bunch of
Jesus.
guys had come in and jumped up on the front row before anybody else could get there, and they weren't budging. He turned that lathe on, and it sounded like a helicopter, like a Black Hawk helicopter. And those guys got up and moved.
I would have too.
Yeah, it was quite funny.
Yeah, I think I would have done as well.
Yeah. I'm just trying to get this.
I've done that a couple of times by mistake. Not intentionally.
Oh, turning on the lathe full speed?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I've done it accidentally. He did it intentionally. He had been speeding it up, just trying to get everything adjusted right. So he knew it was safe. Turned it off and messed with it a little bit. He said, that ought to work. Reached over and hit that switch, and it was on full blast. So you can imagine a 2x4 swinging on a lathe going, I don't know what a one-way top end is, but it's pretty fast.
JP's joined us.
Hey, JP.
Good evening, JP. Can I just say, on behalf of JP, happy birthday, Jamie.
Yes, by all means, happy birthday. Now that he's all of 19.
Here we go. All right. I've been working at getting that curve situated. It was a little off, a little wonky. Jamie, you missed it. I did a homage to you. I rounded this with my Easy Wood Easy Rougher.
And Roland Todd has just come in as well.
Hey, Ronald. By the way, don't know why that reminds me. I'm supposed to be doing a giveaway today. I'm going to give everybody another week because last week I never even mentioned it. I forgot about it totally last week. So we're going to go one more week. You folks in the chat can have another opportunity to jump in if you haven't already. Need to put in in the comments, not in the chat, but in the comments, put in hashtag jazz sax or jazz saxophone, I think is what we said. Either way, I'll put them both in. And you'll be entered. I've got a.
Is this for anywhere, Doug, or just
yes, anywhere.
Anywhere.
In the U.S., I'm going to include a kit of axe abrasive paste and wax. And outside of the U.S., I'll include something else. Okay. I had something in mind, but I forgot what it was now.
Yeah, Jamie's just said that he did a giveaway on his premiere yesterday, which is for the Dremel 8240, and sadly, that is only for the UK.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we do have restrictions when the likes of Jamie, me, AGK, and various other people are doing Dremel giveaways. They can only be done for the UK.
Yeah, well, and that's because the sponsor has asked for that, right?
Heather has joined us. Hi, Heather.
Hey, Heather. Getting ready for work, are you? Or are you off?
And Robert Botwood has also joined us.
Hey,
Hi, Robert.
Robert.
Are they? Evening, Robert.
Just going to come through and kind of clean up this side. I want this side to be
And
very
Mama
straight.
Sneaks is in.
Mama
Evening,
Sneak.
Mama Sneaks.
Hi, Mama.
That must mean that sneaky Clive is somewhere either
Well,
coming shortly or.
I don't know. Clive isn't come anywhere near yet.
And Jamie says he thinks the U.S. should change their plugs. Maybe then he could include them. And he's got a point. He's got a point there that
Yeah,
in the UK you run on 220, whereas we run on 110.
Well, we run on 240. The States and I think Canada run on 110. So that is a bit of a problem as well.
But
there are adapters.
we some of us do have plugs that would fit that, Jamie. Like three of my lathes all run on 220.
It's
So
actually now. Here's the thing. I bought my Sorby Pro Edge from a UK dealer, and it came with an American plug. Now, how
Did it
does that
really?
sound? Yeah,
Hmm.
it did. It was still 240, but it came with an American plug.
and my Canvac is of course coming out of England. It still has an English plug on it, so it runs just fine. Just
Yeah.
don't put your hand near the opening or you might lose it.
They do make.
Right up.
They also make adapter travel plugs for us if we're going to Europe. Um,
Yep.
They still don't work on hair dryers. They'll burn them out.
oh, really?
Yep.
I'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Take your time, Wayne. Take your time. Yeah, I went to Germany several years ago, and I did not need any adapters. Everybody told me, "Go get your adapters," and I didn't need them.
Yeah, Larry said that his bandsaw, he changed it to run on 220.
Right?
As long as you have a motor that can handle that.
Absolutely. Yeah, this lathe can be changed over to 220. I really don't see a need to do it. I thought about it a time or two, and I thought, it comes out to the same anyway. You half the power, but you double the amps
Yeah.
by doing
Well,
that. So it's power wise, it really doesn't make any difference.
yeah, Heather says that we're her earworms while she's working.
All right, all right.
And Karsten says that taking an American 110 device to European 220, 230 plug is always an interesting experience.
Mm-hmm.
You're absolutely right, Karsten.
All right, we're just about even done with the sanding on the outside. There wasn't going to be much sanding or much turning on the outside. I want to have this is one of those pieces that's going to be more sanding on the excuse me, more turning on the inside than anything. That feels
And
pretty doggone good.
Rich Bolduc has joined us.
Hey,
Hey,
Rich,
Rich.
been seeing you
And
for a little while.
Mike is asking, is this going to be an oval bowl?
I think so. I think that's what the title says, isn't it? Let's see what we look like here. Probably look pretty good. I think we look okay. Nice piece of walnut.
Looks to me like the grain is running left right.
It is. It is. But we've been okay because I had the tailstock
Evening,
up.
Al. Alan Gibbs in.
Hey, Alan.
Hi, Al.
It is so good to see everybody. Was telling Wayne and
So,
Ruby earlier I had a power outage yesterday and didn't know if I was going to get to be on or not. So it's just good to be here.
From what
Go
you
ahead.
were saying earlier, Doug, is this going to be a flip around bowl?
A flip around bowl.
So what you do is basically turn this shape, cut it halfway down the
Oh, yeah.
down the length with the bandsaw, then glue it back together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll turn it like this. I'll get the inside hollowed out, and we'll even do the abrasive paste on it. Um, I suspect when I get done, I'll have to do some hand sanding, so I'll have to refinish some of it. But anyway, the whole idea is I'll take it to the bandsaw and I'll cut it this way.
Yeah.
Then I'll glue these two flat ends will be glued back
Yes.
together, and we'll end up with an oval bowl.
I've got this is the type of thing that Colwyn Way used to do a hell of a lot of in the
Right.
past.
Several people have done them.
And
They
now,
are
yeah, I mean, I believe the last one I did was, I don't know, 93, 94, I think. I think
That
I've
was
only ever done one.
that was probably about the last time I did one.
yeah. Well, I've just seen several here recently who have done them. And with it being as wide, or excuse me, as long as this is, as tall as it is currently, it's gonna take me a minute or two to get it hollowed out because I need the walls as even as possible.
Now, we were talking about 110 and 240. Robert Broadwood has said here in the UK, all tools used on building sites are 110 volt. So basically, what the building companies do, they have to have all these little yellow boxes, which are very small transformers, which turn 240 volt into 110 volt to work the tools.
Yeah, to reduce it down.
Mm-hmm. Which makes perfectly good sense.
There's lots of different chats going on here, which obviously I've missed the start of, so I'm not going to bother reading them
Some
out.
don't pertain to us, Wayne. Speaking of which, what is the wood, Doug?
Walnut. This is
Okay.
American black walnut. So just one more wood in the shavings pile today. I've got some old oak where I turned an oak spindle for a chair rung, and then I've got some pine that I just completed another pine plate. Now we got American black walnut.
Well, you better get cooking a lot of or baking a lot of cookies for all those plates.
The plates is a funny thing. I ran across an antique wire plate rack. It's circular in shape. And I bought the thing thinking, well, this will be great when I do a couple of these shows this summer. And then as I paid for it, I thought, ooh, I'll fill it up for the first show and see how many I can sell. The thing holds 32 plates, and I have just not gotten a chance to get into it and really crank out some plates. So I've got 7. I've only got 25 more, and I've got to get them done this week because next week I'm wall to wall from Monday through Friday, and then my first show is Saturday. So
There you go.
it's going to
Now,
be fun.
Chris Nealon has said, I imagine when you cut the ball in half, you have to be spot on the center line.
Yes. I will make a cradle that's long enough to hold the whole thing with a V notch in it, and probably will run a fence, just a temporary fence on my bandsaw to cut it. So I cut it completely, with one pass.
When I've done something like that, when I've got it in the V jig, I sometimes spot a couple places with hot glue.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. We're just buffing this wax, or not the wax, the abrasive paste off at this point. Just trying to get my paper towel to come back clean. We're getting close. You can still see I'm getting some residue.
Yeah.
Now, Carsten is asking Robert, how come 110 volt is used on construction sites? I haven't heard about that anywhere else in Europe. I think
Yeah.
the thing is with that, Carsten, is that in a lot of places, certainly in the UK, if you buy 110 volt tools, they are cheaper than the 240 volt tools. So it's actually cheaper to buy the 110 volt tools and buy a transformer to use them. But predominantly on UK building sites, it's all 110 volt.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
That is
think part
interesting.
of the reason too is that they're using American tools.
It could be that as well. I never even thought of that, but it could be that as well.
I've heard you all talk about Milwaukee and all the same tools that we use. Roby. Um,
No,
they
hang
all
on, hang on, hang on. Robert has come back in answer to Carsten and has said it's to do with safety.
really.
Yeah, and Alan Gibb is come back to me with the same thing to say that it's to do with health and safety, so nobody gets electrocuted.
Okay, that has sense to
Um,
it.
Mike from Dances with Aardvarks has said the 110 because a lot of old contractors had 110 volt generators, and the 110 volt tools were cheaper. The newer generators have 110 and 240, so things might be changing. But yeah, maybe 110 volt. Mind you, when you get electrocuted, it's not really to do with the volts; it's more to do with the amperage.
There we go. Trying to shade some of the light and get it so you can
Yeah,
actually see it.
sorry about that, Doug. I was talking over you,
No,
Sean.
you're fine. You're fine. I'm just showing the axe polish. This is a Carnauba wax. Um,
When you show it, if you keep it right near the piece, I find the pictures better.
maybe we'll try that here in half a second just to see.
There
Yeah,
you
just
go.
print small on it. That's okay. It's axe. It's been interesting. Uh, Not only axe, but one of the other makers of this kind of material, the abrasive paste and polished waxes. They kind of got into not really a debate, but they were talking about how the different ones work and why do this and why not do that. Thought it was interesting to kind of walk through that discussion they were having, and it was more civil than I thought it was going to
Now
be.
the axe paste, that was just a wax. That was not one of the ones with grit, was it?
This last one is just wax. Yeah, the first one was the abrasive paste.
Okay.
That's why it was coming off so dark and brown.
Now, Michael has said when you're showing off the tin, hold it down by the tailstock.
Hmm. I think he meant using the tailstock camera.
Yeah,
All
could do
right,
that
okay.
too. Yeah. Well, if I could even find my.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there.
that works.
There you go. Thank you, Michael.
We'll get it all straight one day.
Oh, that won't be any fun.
I know, I know.
Heck,
That's,
we've got to have something to tease you about,
that's right.
or
It
or
always
get on
amazes
you
me
about, or you're going to start feeling neglected.
when I put the wax on walnut, it still comes off with a little bit of brown on it. It amazes me that it does that, but it does. It's kind of like putting color on a piece. Um,
Sorry to start laughing there, Doug, but
you're okay.
Mike
You're
from
okay.
Dance, Mike from Dancers has said, do a headstand and balance it on your foot. It'll focus perfectly.
Oh, mercy.
Good one, Mike.
Oh. Do, 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 do. Get down. Give it try to give it a
Well, that's
twist.
tight.
Ah.
I know
Oh, God.
somebody who can tell you how to get that out, Tosh.
I've got
No,
a couple
you
of ways.
don't, Ruby, because I didn't.
I've got a couple of ways. One
See,
of the
the
best
thing is,
inventions ever.
I
once
was
you,
going to
once
say
you, once,
one of the clamps you use for changing your oil in your car works really well.
oh yeah, they work really well. I wish I had one at Harrogate last year. I really do.
And you would have deprived all those people of their enjoyment.
Oh
Oh,
my. I can
definitely,
imagine they were having a
definitely.
blast.
Oh, they did. And the annoying thing is that the people who I got the piece of wood from actually promoted that particular piece in a video.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, mercy. Let's see. How many times can we make
For
Wayne look silly?
yeah, for people who don't know what happened, when I was at Harrogate last November, I got a particular piece of wood from a company to turn a bowl out of, and I put it on a worm screw like Doug has there, and it was quite small. And I turned the outside, and I could not screw it back off. Oh, it was camel thorn. Jimmy's just said it was camel thorn,
Yeah.
and I could not screw it back off the worm screw, and we spent about an hour trying to get that thing off. Mark went to different people to try and help and everything. It was good for a laugh.
That strap wrench. You change cameras and you can see it better. Come on. There you go. The strap wrench does a wonderful job. Um, and I think you tried, Wayne. You can also undo your chuck, take the wood with the worm screw in it out, and use a pair of channel locks. It's a little bit
Yep,
easier
yeah.
sometimes. But
I think what I did, the worm screw actually got stuck back in, but Mark took it away to get it off the chuck, and then I used I think I used a skew to actually get the worm screw out. But it was oh yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, but look at it this way: if it hadn't happened, you wouldn't have had that memory.
Well, that's true. That's true, Ruby.
it'll be something to laugh about for a long,
That's
long
right.
time. Long, long time. Because those guys will play it every once in a while just for fun. All right. Now the fun begins. Hmm. I'm wondering. We're going to go with this and see how it does. Get my tailstock out of the way. Here we go.
You don't think a steady rest might help?
If I had one.
Are you
Good.
saying you don't have one?
Well, actually, I do. It was given to me. It was built for a different lathe. So I don't know if it'll fit on this lathe or not. One of these days,
Yeah,
it was made.
Ruby. I don't have a steady rest.
Oh my God.
I've turned a how long was it? 16-inch I think it was 16, 17-inch goblet out of you, without the steady rest.
Yeah, I've never used a steady rest to do a goblet at all.
Well, Jamie says, who needs a steady rest? Live dangerously.
Now,
That's okay
Carsten
at
is
your age, Jamie. When you get to my age, you tend to be a little more cautious.
Carsten has said, when I have a stuck worm screw, I remove it and the wood from the chuck and put the screw head in a metal vise. That usually gives you enough leverage.
I would
Yeah,
think so.
yeah, that's a good way of doing things.
Yeah,
Uh,
Jamie's just said he did a 3-foot goblet from an old bedpost without a steady rest.
Hmm.
Well, you can't do that with got a nub here in the bottom. I got to get that gone before I can use a drill bit.
I mean, even that you goblet that I did, I hollowed it out without a steady rest.
And Jamie says, your age? What do I do when I get to Wayne's age then?
Oh, nice one, Jamie.
We're not going to tell him the truth, are we, Wayne?
No, not at all, Ruby, not at all.
And Sneaks has joined us.
There he is.
Hey, Sneaks.
I knew if Mama Sneaks was here, Clive wouldn't be long to join us. Good to see you, Clive. All right, depth hole done. Now we know how deep we're going, and I don't have to worry about it. Lower that tool rest. Well, I can't lower it much. I'm almost post is against my bedways now.
I had one tool rest like that, and what I did was I cut about a ½ inch off and solved that problem.
I started to do that one time, and I don't know why I decided not to, but I did. Whoa!
Whoops.
That happens quick, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. No harm, no foul.
That is my usual comment, by the way, when I'm earworming and that happens on a live.
Oops.
Yeah, oops.
Yep. There's not much else you can say, is there? And I do remember I did not go all the way around and hit these tightening spots more than once. And I was pushing it pretty hard. So
Maybe don't push quite so hard.
yeah. At least I was going the right direction, Ruby.
Yeah, just take your time. Just take your time, girl.
Yeah. I was coming from center to out, so I was going the right direction. Yeah, right there's where my little catch was when it got out of shape.
Jamie said you should have gone faster.
Yeah.
Would have been turning less air. Now the thing is, now Jamie has gone faster on a particular project. Mind you, it was resin, and Mark and I were there on the live. It wasn't a live; it was in a chat where he was turning a piece of resin faster. And oh yeah, where did that go, Jamie?
It gained wings, did it?
Oh, to say the least, Ruby, to say the least.
All right. Bowl gouge is good. It does a great job. I love it. But there it is. Here's the tool I'm looking for.
Hey, Clive. Yes,
Is that the number one hollower, Doug?
It is. The
It
number one
is.
follower.
Well, I would think you'd be using the number 2 finisher, the round one.
Ah,
Well, this is a
you need
round
a
one.
number one hollow one on
Okay.
this, and then
Yep.
then when he gets further down, he needs the number one claw.
Now, I hope all you good people are noticing Doug's wearing a face shield. He's a very smart young man.
I'm sorry, Ruby. What was that you said?
I said you were a smart young man because you're wearing a face shield.
Oh, okay. That's the important part to say. The other part's a lie, but oh, wonder if I can get this light to work. Probably not. But if it will,
That's right in the way where you're going to be cutting, Doug.
yeah, I was gonna move it if I. There's the light. Good. Now that it's working. Okay, now we can see inside a little bit. If it'll stay. If it'll stay. This light was given to me, and it's sometimes it's helpful, sometimes it's not.
I picked up a floor lamp that's got a top on it with a very small light, and the stem from it bends quite a bit so you can adjust it and put it where you want. And I got it from my IKEA for a very low amount of money, and I found it's one of the handiest lights because I can put it out off the lathe and adjust it and get it right in where I need it.
Yeah, a lot of people have started using these small strip lights you can stick on your tool rest.
Yeah.
And
Like
Jamie's just said that Ruby didn't say that at all, Doug. She changed her words now so you can hear her. We can't repeat what she actually said. And Sneaks has said, now here we go, and I want to see if you can try this. Just imagine Doug saying cheese and bread in a West Indian accent.
cheese and bread?
Cheese and bread? Chris Walters has just come in.
And Rob says he has a sewing light that sort of works.
Chris, how good to see you. Well, seeing how we're nowhere near the bottom just yet, but we're getting there. We're getting there. This little number one hollower really loves to eat wood.
Oh, doesn't it just?
I find when I'm doing something that deep, I tend to like to work my way down the sides.
Yeah, and if this was side grain, I would, but since it's in grain, I'm kind of working from the center out.
And Chris Walters has joined us.
Yeah, Chris.
And he says, "What you say, Doug? I heard my name."
I said hello.
Ronald Todd has said he uses a sewing machine light that has a magnetic base, which is great.
Yeah, those would be good.
Yep.
Yappy's just come in.
Hi,
Hey,
Yeah.
Yappy.
Abby.
I like the idea of the little LED that with a magnet that hooks on the back side of your tool rest. Um, and I think I've got what I need to, if I don't have one, to make one up. Just seeing how far I am from the bottom. I am not far from the bottom, almost there. This tool comes with a mark right there, which is what, 4 inches, right about 4 inches, and I'm that deep already. um,
Yeah. Now, both I think Chris and Doug have said about that tool and about the tool follower that they have been tested all the way up to the handle.
yes,
Yep, Jamie's just said the same thing. You can go way over that line. Trust
you
me.
really can.
That's just what I was saying as well.
It does start getting a little grabby,
It
but
does. You get a wee bit of vibration, but it still
yeah,
works.
yeah. It's. I was gonna say it's grabby, and you get vibration because you're so far over. You don't have the
And
mechanical advantage any longer. But
yeah, the way to get around that is to have a not as thick a tool rest and actually put it inside the piece.
Yeah,
yes,
a box tool rest.
yes,
A box tool rest or a rod type stainless steel tool rest
mm-hmm,
that you can
mm-hmm.
get further down in.
Now, myself, I don't advise using those lights that attach to the tool rest with a magnet because the last thing I want to do is magnetize my tool rest.
Okay.
If you've ever used one that's been magnetized, you'll find your tool does not move very easily along the rest going in and out.
Right, but you can actually get for when you're doing hollowing, you can actually get lights that are not magnetized to come on the likes of the hook and loop type system.
Okay, those I haven't seen. That would work. Now, Chris wants to know if you're aiming for a specific wall thickness, Doug.
I haven't determined an exact size. I want it a good bit thinner than what I am. Um, not tons thinner, but
You just don't want to use very much glue putting them together, or do you?
that's it. I'm too cheap to use my glue.
I think he's partly Scottish like us, Wayne.
Yeah, probably Ruby, probably.
With a name like Miller, probably. We are at precisely 1/4 inch at this moment.
Well, you better
That's
translate
probably where
that
I'm
to
going to leave it.
millimeters.
Probably
For
where I'm
you
going to leave it.
people who are in Europe, that is 6 millimeter.
Thanks, Wayne. Yappy makes a good point. Isn't Miller German?
I'm sorry.
Isn't your last name German?
Hey, I've got everything going. German, Scottish, Irish. Um, yeah, my family is a Heinz 57 of Western Europe.
No, my mom was from Dundee, Scotland, so we were very strongly brought up in that mode.
Well, my surname is from the northeast of England, and I believe that's where it originated. Was in the northeast of England.
Now, Jamie is saying, with a name like Doug, he's surprised you don't turn with a shovel.
Stranger things have happened, Jamie. Stranger things have happened.
Right. Okay. Here we go. Jamie's mentioned that. Has anybody ever seen anybody turn with a shovel?
Wayne Clasper, or not Wayne Clasper. Eddie Castellan has done it.
And so has Steve Jones.
Okay.
I don't think he's not a PT, but he is a production wood turner in the UK, and he has turned with the shovel as well.
Yeah, he's a neat fellow. Now,
Oh,
Ron,
he is one of the best, Ruby.
oh, he is. Yeah, I talked to him for a while back. Ron makes a good point. If you have one of the stainless steel rods on top of your tool rest, then you don't have to worry about it becoming magnetized.
Well, that's true.
That's what that is. It's a robust tool rest with the rod on top. Oh, we're getting there. We're getting there. I was going to say about Steve Jones. I was watching one of his videos one day, and I was trying to figure out what in the world. I could not get my skew to work like his was working. I thought, why don't I send him a message and just see what he says? Worst thing he can do is tell me to booger off, right? So I sent him a message. I said, I know your skew is extremely sharp, and I can't seem to get mine to cut like yours is. What kind of stone are you using to sharpen with, and at what grit? And it wasn't 5 minutes. He came back with a reply and said, I'm using a ruby stone, and it's I forget what he said, 120 or 140 grit.
Yeah, the ruby stone is obviously it's a red colored stone. It is smoother than the usual stones that you get on an ordinary grinder.
Yeah. So I say all that to say that he was very helpful. He could have told me, you'll learn when you get 30 years like I've got, you'll learn what to do. And, he could have left it at that, but he didn't. He took the time to answer my question and help me tremendously.
Like most people would, Doug. I mean, most people, if you ask them questions, they will come back with an answer. Bert Bolter said he was at a demo a few weeks ago, and the demonstrators turned a very fine finial with a rusty axe.
I can remember demonstrators doing that back during the early 90s.
Yep. Mike has said the magnetic light also won't stick to stainless steel on the tool rest. And Raymond Wise has come in probably a few minutes ago, but we were chatting.
Hi, Ray.
Hello, Raymond.
Chris Nealon's got to go. He's going to catch the rest on replay.
All right, Chris, it'll be there. Somebody asked me about that one time. If they were saying, do these lives stay on? I said, well, unless there's that stupid compressor. Unless the turner just really hates something that happened, it's going to stay on. At least in the turning world, that's what I've noticed. Maybe some other areas of makers, they don't leave them up, but most of us turners do leave them up.
Now you've switched to the number 2 finisher.
Yeah, I'm on the finisher now, yeah. I got to the bottom with the hollower and using the finisher to take out the ridges and the lumps and the bumps.
Now, here's something I haven't asked before. For people in the chat, and I didn't discuss this with Ruby or Doug before we started on this live tonight. for people in the chat, what would you like to see Doug turn in the future on his lives?
Glad you brought that up. I've got a couple things in mind for the next
Well,
couple.
we could extend it and say, what would they like to see you turn, Wayne?
Oh, I'll pack into him. I'm not doing any turning anymore ever. Oh, Jamie's coming straight away with resin. That was a joke what I said, by the way, Ruby.
I understood that.
I caught it.
Oh, we've got Michael McEwen with a lidded box. We've got Clint at Wood Dancers with Sweet Gum, which is an Australian wood. Jamie has said to me, segmented scroll sawing. Yeah, on your bike, Jamie.
Segmented scroll saw.
Yeah, Snakes has put up segmented. Susie has put up a very large sphere made from crazy piece of wood full of inclusions and such. Weeval has put up a resin lidded box. Yappy has put up a small and fine finial. Mike has put up, one of his customers asked me to make her a goblet, which has become an elephant. I've come up with an interesting mother and baby elephant design.
Oh, that'd be interesting to see.
Anything else for Doug to do in his lives? This doesn't include, by the way, this does not include what I do on my life. This is only for Doug and what he does on his life.
That means I've got to go back and look at the chat when we're done so I can see some of these ideas.
Oh, yes,
Some of them sounded
you've
good
got
already.
to go like, yeah.
Raymond would like to see you turn a cat.
Turn a who?
A cat.
A cat.
Those are actually quite easy to turn.
And they are very sellable.
Was just using the square one there to get my walls a little more even. I gotta clean it out before I know if I did. All right. Oh yeah, that did a great job of evening out some of those last lumps and bumps, and now to make that transition.
Okay. Right, here you go, Doug. You need to listen to this one. Val wants you to do a resin-lidded box with captive rings and a threaded in which is threaded in 3 corners.
Threaded in 3 corners.
That would be a piece of cake.
Oh, mercy.
Alan Gibb has said a lidded box threaded with a finial. How much threading stuff have you done, Doug?
None. Never done threading.
Well, we're going to count them ones out then.
Or we'll have to give him a lesson, Wayne.
I did go in the other day. There was some thread chasers that were suggested from a particular company because that company was a little less expensive. It was the Sorby thread chasers, and which are good ones. And but there's one company sold them a little cheaper than most anywhere else. So I went and looked for them, and they were the next to last item in the Sorby tools. I thought I'd never find them, but I might actually order them. And if I do, I'll thread something.
Thread chasing's not that difficult.
Yeah,
no.
Go ahead and order. Yeah, Doug, go and order them, and we will get into a bit of a chat and have a bit play about.
Yeah.
That's me, you and Ruby. We'll get into a bit of a chat and have a bit play about.
One
can
thing
do
I'd
that.
suggest is watching Alan Batty's video on
Yeah.
thread chasing.
That
That
is the
that was who I learned from.
yeah. As far as I'm concerned, that the Alan Batty thread chasing video is the best one out there.
Okay. I
Yep.
can't remember if I've watched his or not. Watched an awful lot of them, but I don't know if I've watched his.
Now, Todd says that given your relative proximity to Louisville, how about a baseball bat, a Louisville Slugger?
I'll show you my issue. From here, where my spindle is, to the very end of my bed is only 24 inches. So I can make a mini bat.
Yeah,
That's about as far as I can do,
right.
unfortunately.
Well, you
What you
could
need
do
to
you
do.
could do that and add a ball to it.
That's exactly what I
Yeah.
was going to say, Ruby.
Yeah.
You do a mini bat with the ball in the middle.
I've seen a demo on that here recently.
And Ron thinks that a hollow form with a finial would be a good project.
That's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite turning projects. Is a hollow form. In fact, that's why my lathe is sitting up an extra 4 inches. At the time when I bought this lathe, I was doing a lot of hollow forms, and
Now, Vala has said that Heather did a great baseball bat.
Yes, she did.
she did. She did. Very nice one.
Yep, he was thinking the same thing.
We'll give this just a little bit of a sandy sand. And a sandy sand. That's what Steve says, isn't it? Steve Twaddell.
Yes.
We'll give it just a little sandy sand. And you'll notice I'm not sanding on this face edge because that's the edge that's going to end up being glued up, and I don't want it irregular. In fact, before I take it off the lathe, I'm going to make sure it's nice and true, nice and straight across.
I have a board that I've stapled some sandpaper on that I can hold against a face like that to make sure that it's square
Right.
and even when I do something like this.
I started to do one of those when I did my one and only hollow form. I've got the wood. My problem was I don't have the sandpaper.
Heather has said, thanks, guys, but she copied Ruby's.
That's okay. That's okay.
We weren't going to tell him that, Heather.
I don't like the bottom. When I feel all the way down there, I've got the center, and it's okay, but just outside of the center, there's a lump. And so I want to see if I can't get down there with the finisher and take some of that lump out.
Right now, Mike is asking a question here, and he says, "I really like those weird birds that Ronald something on Facebook does."
Ron Campbell.
That's Ron Campbell.
Is that Ronald Campbell? Oh yeah, it is. It's Ronald Campbell.
Yeah, it's Ron Campbell. They're not that difficult to do. You do a regular bird, and then you cut it up and you re-glue it together.
Right, we've got another question here from Robert Broadwood. Before we go back to Ronald Campbell, do the bat into halves joined in the middle, or with threaded section? They're all done in one, I believe.
One piece. One piece.
Now, Ronald Campbell, he also does carbide cutters. He used to have a get together which he just stopped last year, I believe.
Yeah.
He does some absolutely excellent work. Ron does. He
And
really
he's a
does.
nice person besides.
He is really nice. Okay, I don't know him personally, but I've had a couple of chats with him, and he is.
Michael's looking at a two-piece pool cue.
Yeah. Now you can buy the bits for doing two-piece pull cues. I have tried to do a pull cue by hand, and
They're a pain to
no,
do.
yeah, they are. I didn't succeed. I've got to say.
Much better, much better. Got that little lump out of there, out of the very bottom, and that made all the difference in the world. And it will make difference when I cut this to half and glue it together. Otherwise, I'd be manually sanding, and that's for the birds. I need to turn that down.
Now, can I also say to Mike that before Ronald was doing his the bird things that he's doing now, he was doing a whole lot more different type of stuff. Which some of the stuff he was doing beforehand, I believe, were better than the birds.
Yeah, I think he was influenced by Mike Hoselick.
I think you're right. The birds are. It'd be fair if I said they were a little primitive, wouldn't it? Not his work, but the birds themselves are. It's
Yeah,
a kind of a folk arty bird. They're cool looking. I like to see them.
yeah, that's what he does after he puts them back together.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the stuff he was doing earlier with some of the hollow pieces and the piercing and stuff, I thought
Mhm.
were better than the birds anyway.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that comes down to personal preference of what kinds
Oh,
of trimmings you like.
oh yeah, definitely, Ruby, definitely.
I mean, I've done very thin pieces and pierced them, but I don't really enjoy them for the simple fact that they're too fragile and they're so delicate, you don't want to even hand them to somebody to look at.
Yeah. I remember Ben Foe coming on Wood Central and talking about people. He quit taking them out anywhere because people would pick them up and crush them in their hand.
Yeah.
They didn't mean to, but they were just wanting to see how, see the fine detail that he had. And his was
Yeah.
so delicate that they would just crumble in people's hands.
Yeah, I saw Don Derry and another chap at a wood show. They were in the booth next to me, and it happened to be a windy day, and their pieces that they were asking a couple of grand for went flying down the street.
Oh, no.
Oh
And
no,
for
what?
me, that would be heart wrenching.
Don't you know?
Now, Vinnie Charlton has put in. I would love you to do some thread chasing after watching Terry on Sunday night. I have just ordered a pair of Sorby 16 TPI chasers. Now,
Well, Vinny,
again, Terry, this is Terry Bray from Heckington Arts. If you're on YouTube, he is absolutely brilliant at doing hand thread chasing.
Mm-hmm. He did an excellent job Sunday. Okay, I'm using a little, it's a piece of a pen blank just as a backer, and nice and square. I can't go all the way across, but I can get the edge and hold it as square as I can. I'm looking at the bed, making sure I'm square.
I'll have to send you a longer piece of wood.
Well, the wood's not the problem. It's the sandpaper.
Oh,
That's as big a piece of sandpaper as I own. I
you gotta
buy
be, you've got to be kidding.
no, I don't buy. I buy when I buy sheets, they're 36 inches by 36 inches, and I cut them down to 2-inch squares. Or like my Klingspor paper here is the ruffle edge.
Now, going back to the piercing stuff we were talking about earlier. One of the best guys in the UK to look at for Pearson stuff is Mick Hanbury. What he does with Pearson stuff and works of art with Pearson is absolutely unbelievable. Now there are other people around the world that do Pearson stuff, but in the UK, Mick Hanbury he is one of the best. He doesn't do the annoying thing about Mick is that he doesn't do a lot of his own videos. There have been videos of him doing videos from wood turning clubs, and they've not been necessarily Pearson stuff. They've been colouring stuff, but the Pearson work he does is absolutely unbelievable.
I will have to make sure I get this edge really clean before I go to glue it up. So what I'll probably do is clean it with some alcohol after I cut it, actually. We are getting right at the finish here. If anybody has any other questions, like I said before, this is just a very basic bowl. It's going to end up 5.5 inches in length, and it's started out as a 5-inch square, so it's probably 4.5, 4 3/4, something like that in diameter. After we get done here, I will make a V sled and lay this in there, and I'll cut it top to bottom on the bandsaw. I'll take 1/2, flip it over, and I'll put this edge to this edge, and we'll have an oval bowl. Once it's all completed, I'll put it up on the socials. So I'm not going to put you all through waiting for me and then waiting for glue to dry, but you'll get the idea. My 2-hour power outage yesterday didn't help me. That was the time I was going to make my blue Peter piece.
Well, maybe what you'll have
that's
to do is film yourself doing those parts.
Maybe.
Like cutting it and gluing it, and then
I can do that.
The camera while it dries.
I can do that with my phone and put up a short video on that, edit it out a little bit. All right, get a clean piece of paper towel here. Run my speed up a little more. That's up to 700. We're just cleaning it out now. The abrasive part has done its job. We're just cleaning out the oil and wax that is the carrier for the abrasive.
Now, what are you going to do with the tenon then?
Well, the tenon, I will, I'll have to sand it off or grind it off somehow.
Looks like Ruby and Al had the same thought there, because he's just asked what you're going to do with the tenon.
I bought some 40 grit flap disc. There we go, like those, a while back. I used that once. I bought these to try to do some texturing work, and it's they don't really work for that. I got some texture, but it wasn't the texture I wanted. But it will work tremendously for taking that little bit of a tenon off. That tenon is not very big. That's one reason it flew out earlier, that, and I didn't have it tightened down all the way. Now, so when I tightened it down, it's stayed still ever since. So
now Mike says that pipe makers do some good sandblasted and faux sandblasted finishes.
Yeah. Let's crank some more speed up in here. It's up to 825 at this point.
I've found with sandblasting, you need to have a very, very big
unit.
Unit, yeah. It needs to be pushing out a hell of a lot of air per minute,
Mm-hmm.
so you can actually get the sandblasting. And it only tends to work very well on open grained wood, the likes of ash, the likes of
Mm-hmm.
oak, and things like this. On tight grained work, sandblasting doesn't tend to work so well.
Agreed.
This is true. It would have worked well on that piece of oak that I turned for that chair rung earlier. Talking about open pores, my goodness. It was on the side of a barn at one time, so it's been aged. It's had nails run through it.
Yeah, but then you'd have had to have taken the other one on the other side and returned it. And
No.
then you'd have ended up doing all the legs and everything on the chair.
Now this is a
Now,
repair for
hey,
somebody else, so they get it as it is.
I'll tell you what, Doug. Al is already decided he's going to be doing this tonight.
And
All
we're going
right.
to look to see for it tomorrow night.
That's it. That's it. Speaking of which, if you haven't started already, we'd love to invite you to Worldwide Woodturners. It's on Wednesday night. It's a Zoom meeting. The way you get there is to go to worldwidewoodturners.org, O-R-G. And on the left-hand side of the page, there will be a little button that says click to go to meeting. You click on that button and it takes you over to Zoom, and one of the moderators
Uh,
will let you in.
and it's free. You
And
don't
it's
have to
free.
be a member. Yeah, there's no membership involved. It is
Nope.
totally free. You
And
can
it's
just click.
7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Eastern, yes, Eastern time.
Yeah, 7 p.m. Eastern. It is 12 midnight GP. What we on? British summertime. I think
Yeah,
at the moment
BST.
it is it is 12 o'clock British summertime. There's usually you can usually get in around about 11:30 if you're in the UK. There's a bit of chat goes on. Then we usually do a show and tell of people's work, and the demonstration will start in the UK around about 1 o'clock.
And Wayne, are you on tomorrow live?
No, I was on last week, Ruby.
Oh, okay. You're going bi-weekly.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I did the demo last week, so the demo started early at 12 midnight. Usually, what they do is that if somebody is doing it from overseas, they will certainly from Europe, they will do the demo early and then do the show and tell.
No, I meant your regular live on Wednesday
Oh,
evening.
sorry, my regular live on a Wednesday night. Yes, I will be on. I haven't set it up yet because that's
Looks good, Doug.
If you could only see inside, it's a dark hole.
You
It
know,
needs a
Doug,
little
you
more.
need to get a flashlight. It's
Yeah,
as simple as that.
it needs some more sanding toward the bottom where I couldn't reach very well. But I'll do that once I open it up and turn it around. It'll be easy enough. I'll use my drill with the sanding mandrel on it. And so, just to help you, this will be cut. There we go. It'll be cut this way. And I'll take this half. I'll turn it and put the two tops together. Then the bowl will be open this way. So this will go kink over here.
And it's going to
Got it?
have a round bottom, so it'll roll all over the place.
It'll have a round bottom until after it's glued, I'll come back with my sander and I'll sand just a little bit of a flat right on the bottom.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll do it on my big sanding disc that can take the whole thing. Make it easy. I'll just go zip, zip, and it's done. So,
Great
but anyway,
idea, Doug.
black walnut. Like I said, I've seen a couple people do it here recently, and it just gave me the idea of doing an oval bowl. I've never tried it before. I may never ever do another one. Then again, I might. Who knows? I do have a couple other ideas for the next couple of weeks already, and we'll see how those go.
Oh,
And then
good.
I'm going to look through the chat and see some things. Maybe there's something there that intrigues me, and we'll jump on that. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Well, if you're
Um,
interested, tomorrow afternoon, Record Power is having one of their lives, and
yes.
No, that
Theo has a great project in mind line for that one.
in the UK, Ruby, that is the same time as my life.
Oh,
It is, isn't it? It
that means
is.
It is.
I'm sorry, Wayne. I guess I'll have to watch your live later.
Sorry,
You
Theo.
know,
I'll be watching
that,
Wayne.
I don't know what it is. The record power thing. They always used to do a Thursday night, which was absolutely brilliant. But
Mm.
over the past few, they've started doing the Wednesday night. It's absolutely no problem because I go back and watch that one as well. But yeah, okay. Record Power's on tomorrow night. Ruby's
Wayne's
going to be
on
in there.
tomorrow night. It really gets hard splitting yourself into 2 or 3 directions, doesn't
It
it?
really
Oh, doesn't
does.
it
It
though?
really does.
Doug,
There we
I
go.
think you should go back to yourself so we can see a close up of that.
Oh, so I was trying to get it. There we go. Now it's up where you can see it. Dun dun dun. Or, well, it gets bigger all the time, doesn't it?
Yep, it
Oh, it's little. No, it's big.
does.
That's how you tell your fish stories, right? You hold it out at arm's length. Like, here's my fish, little minnow, and it looks like a whale. But anyway, that's one of the plainest pieces of walnut that I've turned in a long, long time. But it is still very pretty.
Yep.
Got one little mark in it where it took flight a while ago. I may spritz it with some water and apply some heat, see if I can pull that out. But y'all were worried about the tenon. It's a very small tenon. That won't be a big deal to grind off of there.
Well,
So
you did a
anyway,
really good job of hollowing that with that small tenon.
oh yeah, well, it's sized correctly.
Yeah.
If
And
if you understand that.
and Todd has mentioned don't forget the hashtag jazz sax in the comments.
There you go. Thanks for the reminder. Yeah, we're giving everybody an extra week on that because last week I totally forgot to mention it, and so did my earworms. And so, not a big deal. We'll
Oh
just
my God,
extend it
I'm
one
sorry.
week. It's no problem. We'll just give everybody an extra week. If you haven't already signed up for that, we're going to do a vase that I turned, as well as in the U.S. there will be a axe kit, and for those outside of the U.S. I'll include something else. I haven't fully decided what yet, but we'll find something that's of similar value. How's that? And add it into the box so that we don't have any troubles with customs or anything like that. So we'll take care of that. And don't let me kind of fall in line with some of the other folks who are doing giveaways. Don't fall for those folks who contact you and say, "Oh, you're the winner. You need to send me $30 for postage."
Oh yeah,
Postage
yeah,
is on me. Postage is on me. I will make the announcement. You will then need to contact me if you're the winner. We'll do that over direct message, either on Instagram or Facebook, and we'll be all good. We'll have that personal touch and contact between each other, not
yeah.
through a third party.
They are all spam. If anybody
Yep.
is asking for you to send money for postage, they are
Yeah.
spam. Do not believe it.
I am surprised nobody's contacted me already saying, "Hey, where do I send this money to?" or something of that nature. Or "I'm so glad I'm the winner." No, the winner has not been announced, and so don't fall for that. Please don't fall for it. Like I said, we'll do this. I'll make the announcement of who the winner is. Everybody will see that, and then the winner will then contact me private message with how I ship this stuff to you. So that's the way that's going to work. All right. Good to have everybody with me today. It's been a lot of fun. This turned out pretty well. I have said for a long time, American black walnut is the king of North American hardwoods. Cherry is the close running queen, and then there are some princes and princesses. Some of them are adopted and some are not. But there's some awful lot of beautiful wood that I really enjoy. Walnut is, for a North American hardwood, it's my favorite. It's not my favorite wood, but it is my favorite North American wood.
Well, there are some pretty nice maples too.
Oh, absolutely. Some beautiful maples. In fact, I've got a piece or two of maple around that I want to turn here before too much longer. Maybe outside. I've been digging into the spalted hackberry. Oh my goodness, the beautiful lines and colors and whatnot in that spalted hackberry is just amazing. So
Right.
if you've been watching my stuff, you've seen that recently.
Can I
Have
just
you-
say, Doug, for people who are putting the hashtag jazz sax into the chat, can you wait until the live is finished and then go and put that into the
Yes.
comments?
Yeah,
Because
needs to be in the comments.
That's where it's going. Yeah, it needs to be in the comments. That's where it's going to get picked by.
Yep. And I'm not. I got to figure out how I'm going to do that. I'd love to do it live. I don't know that I have the ability to do that. Somebody may have to show me, but I can record it and then show the recording of that pick. I'm sure it's easy to do. I just don't know how. Anyhow, folks, it's been a lot of fun. I've got a busy
Can I
week
just-
next week, but I'll
can I-
be in.
can I
Go ahead,
just-
Wayne.
Right, Doug. Can I just say, I did that the other week with the Dremel 8240 giveaway. If you bit worried about it, get in touch with Jamie. Jamie knows just about everything about doing these giveaways.
Yes, he does. He's good at it. Very good. Very good. And Jamie, if you're still here, I may be hollering at you, bud. And I know it won't take long. It's just one of those things. I just don't know how to do it. Okay. I've got a busy week next week, but I do plan to be here doing this live. And I'm trying to also get 25 more plates turned. We'll see if that happens. And then I've got a show on Saturday. So that's what I've got going on. Ruby, I know
nice.
you're involved with the record power thing tomorrow, or
Yeah.
tomorrow evening. And so that'll be fun. Anything else you got going on?
Just trying to get all this wood I've got here roughed out and sanded down. I only got 4 bowls roughed out this morning.
Oh, mercy. That roughing out stuff, I understand. It makes a lot of sawdust and a lot of mess. And at the end of the day, you don't see a whole lot.
Well, every
Just rough
bowl
outs.
produced an entire yard waste bag full of chips.
Yeah, I've taken more shavings out in the last few days than I know what to do with. Wayne, you got anything special going on?
No.
Live
To tidy
tomorrow.
up in the house. I will be live tomorrow. Yeah.
Excellent.
No idea what I'm doing, as per usual, but I'll.
It'll be spectacular per usual.
Whatever it
Oh,
is, whatever it is, it'll be great.
Thank you very much, Ruby.
All right, folks. With that, we're going to say adios. Bye, everybody.
Adios.
Nice.